Let's talk about how hard kids are going to be working and whether or not there are too many exams for them. Noah Khogali, a Conservative councillor and political commentator, and Sophia Worringer, is that how?
Worringer.
Yeah, Worringer, forgive me, political commentator with Young Voices. Good to see you both. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Too many exams?
No, I think we've got it about right. And we have a case study of what happens when we have less exams and who loses out. And the cohort of children who lose out are the most disadvantaged cohort. We had this during the pandemic. We had teacher-assessed grades and more subjective ways of assessing children. And the most deprived cohort saw their grades fall. They had their grades downgraded from what the teachers had given them, and they had a lot less percentage of the top grades awarded. So only 22% of A stars and A's compared to those at the most advantaged end had nearly 50% awarded. So we know already that those people who will miss out if we have less exams are the most disadvantaged. So I don't think it's a good idea to take more away.
No.
Government research from 2020 suggested that going to a more coursework-based system didn't actually disadvantage those, those people who might be from deprived backgrounds, for example, or those with, special educational needs. That's the reality here. We need to decide what we want out of our education system. Is it just, short-term fact recall, or is it the ability to think deeply and be prepared for the workplace? That's the decision we've got to make, and I know which side I'm on.
I think that we can have a system that is based on exams that does prepare you for the workplace. I agree, we need people who are skilled, who have those social skills. Exams doesn't have to be written in a hall, they can be oral, they can be about presentation, they can be about technical skills, and we really need to improve our technical offer in this country. And at the Centre for Social Justice, where I work, we want to see a really robust level of technical skills delivered from 14, so that children have a clear route to sight to careers in their area that they can go for that are tailored to their needs and their skills. But that doesn't mean that we don't have exams, because there needs to be a level playing field. And I do think, despite all the problems with potentially some children have had, when they go into that exam hall, they are equal with their peers as much as possibly can be. And I think that's why we need to preserve them.
A system that is, based on an equal playing field of only short-term memory isn't particularly helpful when we're trying to design an education system to give our young people the best opportunity as they move into the world of work. We're creating an environment that will not exist for them after they turn, whenever they leave school or, say, leave university. That's not helpful in creating fully, well-rounded individuals that are capable of dealing with the complex challenges that, life might throw at them. They're never going to be stuck in a room again with no access to the internet or any research and just asked to regurgitate all the information that they've just been rereading the night before. That's never going to happen again. What we need to have is an education system which has even more focus on, creating fully, well-rounded, intelligent young people that are capable of grappling with the really complex challenges of the day. And that's what we should be having throughout our education system. Frankly, look, exams have a role in some subjects, but as a whole, they're not the most up-to-date way of assessing how good a young person is.
I disagree. I just think an exam is
Good.
more than...
That's why you're here.
I do think that an exam can be more than knowledge regurgitation. It is about the way you structure arguments, the way you can understand questions. It is about the way you pull different concepts together, and that is what is needed in the world of work. But again, exams don't have to be written. You can have an exam that is about oral presentation, which I know from employers is really what they need. They need people who can communicate, who can speak clearly, who are confident, and we should have exams looking at these types of skills as well. If you have assessment just based on coursework, those from the most advantaged backgrounds will have their parents potentially pulling in on that. They will have that social capital behind them, which means that they can outperform their peers who are coming from a background where potentially their families don't have that resource behind them, and therefore they are missing out, and that is not fair.
You can have coursework in a controlled environment, though. It's, it's not reasonable to say that these children are always going to be going home and getting their parents to do it. I think that's not the situation. You can do it in a classroom setting where there is allocated research resources, and it is a controlled environment. That's the best way of doing it, finding a balance in between them, not sticking with an outdated way of, judging our young people.
How do you measure that against the performance of other schools?
Sorry, what do you mean?
I mean that if kids are in a classroom and are not sitting exams but rather are going through a course process, how do you compare their ability to do whatever they're doing to those from a different school?
So look, even now in coursework for some GCSEs, I remember my history GCSE, that was in a controlled environment that is regulated. You know, the teacher can't be jumping in and helping you every 2 minutes. It can be regulated in the same way as exams are now, where schools are checked that they're conducting them right. I think we'll all remember there's people walking up and down those examples with very loud shoes, stressing everybody out. You can still check that schools are being reasonable with it and are being proper and not gaming the system.
Is that a fair point?
I think it is, but I think as well we need to take into account that the fact that we're having a curriculum review that is undergoing at the moment, that the government is going to look at the education system as a whole. And I don't think we need to take away from what we have already. I think we just need to add. I don't think we need to take away the exams. I think we need to add to the offer that we have. So we want to see a right to sport, where so all people of all backgrounds are having that access to sporting extracurricular activities. We know the huge advantage gap that those from privately educated backgrounds have when they have that opportunity to play sport, not just for the physical benefits, but also for the leadership opportunities, the communication opportunities, all those soft skills.
Okay.
So we need to widen out the offer we have for our young
Started
people.
with you, so we must finish with Noah.
Yeah, you are absolutely right on the sporting bit. Fundamentally, we need an education system that is fit for the year that we're in, that includes technology. That's all the amazing information that all these young people are going to have on hand throughout their lives. It's a ridiculous proposition to suggest that we should throw them in a room and go, well, now pretend you're in the 1800s and you can't have easy access to a book or a calculator or all the information that is always at our fingertips. We need to be creating an environment that is going to make these young people the best people that they can be when they leave school, and that includes cutting back on the number of exams.
Out of time, pens down. Thanks very much indeed. Thanks a lot.